We are conditioned from the first day we enter the education system to believe in a fundamental equation that intelligence paired with hard work is directly correlated with wealth. If you are a high IQ individual, the valedictorian, the Ivy League graduate, the Mensa member, you were promised the top. You were told that your cognitive processing speed, your ability to memorize, and your capacity to solve complex problems were your passports to financial sovereignty. But if that equation were true, the wealthiest people in the world would all be tenure-track professors and theoretical physicists. Instead, look around. The smartest person you know is probably working a 9-to-5, managing a complex spreadsheet and collecting a steady but capped salary, while working for someone who might have barely graduated high school. Welcome to the intelligence trap. We are entering a new era where raw cognitive power, once the single greatest asset a human could possess, is actually becoming your single greatest obstacle to becoming rich. In this video, we are going to expose the 5 critical flaws inherent in the smart person's operating system. We are going to dissect exactly why high IQ often leads to low EQ in the marketplace, why your ability to overanalyze paralyzes you when a market opportunity demands immediate, intuitive action, and why the system, the matrix, specifically designed the corporate ladder to reward your compliance, keeping you broke, overeducated, and dangerously predictable. You've mastered the linear game. Now, you need to understand the exponential reality that is leaving geniuses behind in poverty. But before we dive into the psychology, I want to ask you a question that society refuses to answer. Tell us in the comments about the single smartest person you know, the raw genius who is either completely broke, deeply in debt, or stuck in a low-paying job. We need to collect the data to break this illusion. Read through those comments. You'll find thousands of similar stories. Then join me as we expose the final reason your smarts are failing you. The comment section is filling up and the pattern is clear. Now, we must understand why this happens. We begin by dissecting the core psychological operating system of a high IQ individual. Your brain was optimized for the academic environment. In school, success meant having all the data, analyzing it perfectly, and finding the singular correct answer. The more variables you could process, the better. But the free market isn't an academic test. It is a chaotic, unpredictable storm of human behavior. In business, speed often beats perfection. A messy, imperfect action taken immediately is worth 10 pristine plans that are never executed. And this is where smart people suffer. You don't take action, you take analysis. You identify every potential point of failure. You calculate every risk. You map out scenarios A through Z, and you paralyze yourself. The market moves on. The opportunity vanishes. The person with less raw processing power, the one who didn't overthink it, takes the messy action, makes the mistake, learns faster, and ultimately captures the reward. Your intelligence, meant to be your armor, becomes your cage, but the trap goes deeper than just analysis paralysis. High intelligence often breeds a dependency on external validation through credentials. Because your childhood was defined by test scores, degrees, and being told you were smart, your concept of financial value is dangerously warped. You believe your PhD, your MBA, or your specialized certification is an automatic asset. The real world doesn't care about your GPA. It does not care that you graduated summa cum laude. The free market does not pay for intelligence. It only pays for value provided. The problem is that the system understands this perfectly. Corporations rely on this flaw. They actively recruit overeducated geniuses because your degree is the ultimate signal of compliance. It guarantees you are good at taking directions, following structures, and operating safely within the rules. They offer you a stable, high-paying salary, which seems like a win, but that salary is a cap. It is the price you accept in exchange for never taking a true risk. You become the indispensable component that keeps someone else's exponential business running, while your own potential is quietly neutralized. Let's look at the pure, unforgiving math of how your intellect is being weaponized against your own bank account. Smart people love complexity. It makes you feel secure. You want to understand the intricate details of your 401k, the tax advantages of a Roth IRA, and the diversified algorithms of a managed mutual fund. You feel a sense of superiority because you understand the jargon, but while you are meticulously optimizing for a safe 7% annual return, the financial institutions are laughing at you. Between compounding inflation, hidden management fees, and currency debasement, your purchasing power is being silently mathematically annihilated over a 40-year timeline. You are playing a complex game of pennies, designed by Wall Street to keep your capital locked in their vaults simply because you are arrogant enough to think you can optimize a rigged system. But the ultimate financial trap for the high IQ individual is the worship of the salary. You view a $150,000 paycheck as a victory. You see it as proof of your cognitive worth. But mathematically, a high salary is just a highly polished financial cage. You are trading an absolutely finite resource, your time and brain power, for a capped linear return. The person who barely passed high school doesn't have the cognitive capacity or the patience to build a perfectly optimized financial spreadsheet. So what do they do instead? They build a messy, simple cash flow business. They hire other people. They utilize leverage. They aggressively separate their income from their physical time. They own the equity. You own the highest tax burden in the economic code. The corporate tax system is explicitly designed to punish linear W-2 income at the absolute highest possible rate. Your raw intelligence is literally financing the government and paying for your CEO's leveraged assets, while you are left holding the scrap, desperately waiting for a 3% annual raise just to outpace the cost of groceries. Your intelligence isn't building wealth. It is building a very comfortable, highly taxed prison. The most dangerous thing about high intelligence is that it allows you to rationalize terrible financial decisions better than anyone else. A high IQ individual rarely falls for the obvious traps. You aren't maxing out credit cards on designer clothes or flashy jewelry. Instead, you fall into what I call the intellectual's debt trap. Because you have a high salary, society grants you massive access to credit, and because you are smart, you use complex financial logic to justify buying liabilities and calling them investments. You buy the $800,000 house in the premium neighborhood, convincing yourself it's a great asset, ignoring the property taxes, the maintenance, and the mortgage interest that will double the true cost of the home over 30 years. You finance the $70,000 European luxury SUV because it has better safety ratings and holds its value. You send your kids to expensive private schools because education is an investment. Before you know it, your high intelligence has built a remarkably high overhead life. You look rich to your neighbors, but mathematically, you are living on the edge of a razor blade. You have optimized your life to require a massive monthly cash burn just to break even. This is the ultimate victory for the corporate system. By allowing you to build a comfortable, high-status life financed by debt, they have guaranteed you can never leave your W-2 job. You can never take the risk of starting a business. You can never take a year off to build a scalable product. The moment you stop trading your time for that high salary, the entire illusion collapses. Your intellect didn't buy you freedom. It just allowed you to finance a much more expensive set of golden handcuffs. So how do you break out? How do you stop being the smartest, most over-analyzing, highest-taxed person in the room? The answer is brutal, but it is the only mathematical truth that matters. You have to stop optimizing for safety and start optimizing for equity. We are not talking about changing your mindset. The market doesn't care about your feelings. We are talking purely about the mechanics of money. Your raw cognitive power is a weapon, but right now, you are renting that weapon to a corporation for a fixed monthly fee so they can capture the exponential upside. You are the engine, but they hold the pink slip to the car. To acquire true wealth, you must completely decouple your income from your time. You need to stop collecting certifications and start collecting assets. The person who builds a messy, imperfect cash flow system will mathematically obliterate the genius who spends 10 years perfecting a resume. You have to embrace the chaos of the free market. Stop analyzing scenario Z, launch the product, start the business, buy the asset. Take the messy, imperfect action that exposes you to unlimited upside. Let the market give you the raw data, and then use your high high intelligence to iterate and scale. Wealth is not created by outsmarting the tax code on a W-2 salary. Wealth is created by building leverage through capital, through labor, through code, or through media that works 24/7 while you sleep. It is time to stop hiding behind your degrees. It is time to stop playing the rigged, linear game. You have the intelligence to conquer the system, but only if you are brave enough to finally step outside of it. If you are ready to stop losing your money to the corporate machine and actually learn the mechanics of escaping the rat race, hit the subscribe button. Welcome to Mind Trap. Let's break the chains.